Hello, 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 everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining me today. For many of us, we are back to work as if nothing even happened. So we're entering 2021. And as you know, on Mondays, I like to come on here, share all of the information, all the scoop and updates, what's going on in the real estate market. And I will continue to do that through 2021. Through 2021, though, I am going to kind of change the format a little bit with the information that I give you on Mondays. I've been playing back and forth, trying to see what you guys like. So I want to make sure that I'm giving you all of the information that you guys like to engage with the most. So my name is Andrea Wilson. I am the broker and owner of Brick House Realty. We're a full service real estate brokerage right here in Northeast Ohio. We help people here locally buy and sell homes, and we work with investors here locally and also out of state and out of the country. We want to work with you guys. So let's get started. All right. So welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. So normally when we start into that next month, I like to give you guys the breakdown of the numbers. I'm not doing that this week because I know the final numbers with the way the holiday was. I know the final market numbers are not in just yet. So I'll do that next Monday. So make sure you join me next Monday as I share that information. So today I'm going to talk about a couple things. One of those things is I'm going to share some information about a city that a lot of people love to live. And I'm going to break that down for those of you that are thinking about relocating to the area or just trying to figure out where to move to. So I'm going to offer some pros and cons about that area. I do want to talk about the real estate market in 2020. And just recap just a little bit. So when we started out 2020, January, February, things were really looking good, very positive. Prior to 2020, we had been coming out of a recession period in the housing market. And because when we went into that recession period, that was highly to do with the real estate market, a lot of homeowners had lost their equity in their homes and the value of the homes had gone way down. It didn't matter where you live. And this was happening all across the country. So as we fast forward a little bit, we saw an influx of foreclosure properties hitting the market. We saw a lot of homeowners actually having to do a short sale on a property. The short sale, if you're not familiar with that, it's where you owe more than the home is actually worth on the property. So in many cases, those homeowners, in order for the bank to even consider doing a short sale with you, they have to see that you're in some kind of distressed state. So homeowners was actually having issues with their credit, whereas maybe they financially were okay. It's just, I want to move. And so when you do the short sale on the property, you take a hit on your credit. So a lot of people were experiencing that. So as we kind of fast forward from when the recession happened, we're talking like 2007, 2008, and then fast forward, we had just started to see in 2019 values starting to increase. So in 2020, there was like a huge outlook on the market. With the anticipation of value starting to increase even more. And because a lot of owners had been in the mindset already of, I'm not selling my home because they knew that the values were down, that we had a low inventory situation. Even going into 2020, we had already seen a lot of low inventory situations. So we were all happy as real estate agents and excited moving into 2020 and like, oh, okay, this is going to be a really good year for real estate. We saw this, uphill climb of values on homes. So if you were a homeowner, great time to sell your home. We had even seen at the beginning of the year where offers were going in on multiple offers for homeowners. And so Then March hit, right? So March hit, and then it's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? There's a stay-at-home owner for much of the country at this point. How are we going to survive? So at that point, everyone in the industry was panicking. Real estate agents, loan officers, title, like the whole industry was panicking and wondering, like, oh my God, is the bottom of the housing market going to fall out again? Because no one knew. So things were changing rapidly, right? Interest rates, surprisingly enough, stayed at a really low rate. They are still good today. We saw a lot of the lenders start to change their interest rates. I'm sorry, not their interest rates, their credit score requirements, right? They some places said you had a 680, other places 650. The credit scores had kind of shot up, which was kind of rough for a lot of people who wanted to buy, because their score may not have been at those higher limits just yet, right? So it was just, trying to figure out where things are at. Sellers, well, do I want people coming in my home because of this coronavirus? I don't want people trafficking. What does that look like? So as an industry, we started doing virtual walkthroughs, virtual open houses, virtual tours, very, very intuitive in terms of what we decided to do. And we were deemed, and here in Ohio, real estate agents were actually deemed as a essential worker. So we were working throughout this entire pandemic. And at the end of the day, where we are today, I am shocked, right? So I could be sitting here now in January 2021 to share this information with you. I'm absolutely shocked and pleased that where we are today in terms of the real estate market. So there's a couple things from that I want to kind of takeaways that I want to share with you guys. And number one is, do not take owning real estate for granted, right? A lot of times people just kind of throw it on the back burners, like, I'll get to that, I'll think about it. And so you never quite take it seriously. So what we saw happen at the beginning of the year, like I said, credit score requirements shot up, meaning that you needed like a 670, 680 in some cases. So what happened, that took away the ability for a lot of people to buy a home. So when you're in a market, in a place where the credit scores are, the normal credit score for on an FHA loan is 580. You could get down payment assistance. So if we're in a situation where you're able to purchase now with low credit score requirements and low interest rate, you should do that now. We don't know what the crystal ball is for the future. And there could just be one thing that happens. We just have a whole new administration that just is, I think, going into the White House. And that administration could come in with a different agenda, which could shift interest rates, loan programs. You just never know. So you never want to take this for granted. If you're thinking about buying a home, now is the time to buy. So you always want to keep that in mind. So I just want to share that with you guys for a little bit. Next, right? The one thing that I always talk to people about it, especially if they're relocating here to the Cleveland metro area, is trying to determine where to live. So I wanted to just pick an area to talk about today, and I'll continue to kind of break down some different areas. And this is not just if you're thinking about living there, but if you're thinking about investing and where to buy investment property. So the area that I'm going to share with you guys today is going to be Cleveland Heights, right? So Cleveland Heights, I have some numbers here. I'm sorry, I got to move my computer a little bit. I have some numbers here I want to share with you guys about Cleveland Heights. And the last census, when we had that data, the population was 46,238 people. And Cleveland Heights is considered the 8th largest city in the greater Cleveland area. So 46,000 people is quite a bit of people. It's quite a bit of people to live in one community. So let's break that down a little bit. So the pros, right? Some of the pros about Cleveland Heights is that it is a very large community and it's very diverse depending on where you live. And when I say diverse, I'm not just talking about in people, but in the makeup of the community in general. They have some very large homes, beautiful, beautiful homes with a lot of older charm. And then there is scattered throughout the city some newer construction homes. And then in addition to that, there's a lot of multifamily homes within this community too. So because of how diverse it is, and the fact that you have multifamily homes, and the fact that a lot of these homes are much larger, so you can get more rent because there's more square footage if you're thinking about investing in an area, that's why this area makes a great place to consider for investing. Some other things to consider about the area, that why people move to it, is that it's very close. You can take the streets if you work downtown Cleveland, or if you work at least two of our major hospitals in the area, which is University Hospital and Cleveland Clinic. So if you're thinking about who needs to live in this area or who this area is good for, is any of the folks working at our two of our like major employers in the area. And so some of the doctors, they have to live within a certain mile or distance within the hospital. So Cleveland Heights makes it a perfect area to do so. And the diversity in the culture around there allows for just so much rich culture when it comes to food, a lot of like mom and pop locations, authentic food in the area, small shops, a lot of, I'm just trying to think of like if you're talking about like that Coventry area where it's kind of an older makeup, that you're going to get that feel. Good morning. I'm sorry. I was just reading the chat here. But yes, Chris, yes, please tag me. I would like that. So at any rate, Cleveland Heights has so much to offer because of the higher rents and because of the makeup of the community. And because if you're looking at the multifamily properties, what's nice, it's not like a whole community full of multifamily houses. You have houses in between, single family homes, which makes the community look a lot better because you have that mix of the community. So it's not just swinging one way or the other. Some of the downfalls, though, to living in that Cleveland Heights area is kind of it's mid-center. So it makes it really hard if you do have to jump on the freeway. So if you're going to move to that area, you have to think about that drive time that you're going to have, because you have to get out of the city. You have to drive a far distance to be able to get to the highway to maybe get to the work. So it might add some drive time, right? Because of the community is a lot older, a lot of the homes in the area have a boiler heating system. Now, I know a lot of people, or some people, like the boiling heating system because it's a little, it's not as harsh as far as easier to breathe, because it's like steam heat coming out. It's a lot cleaner. However, if your husband is like my husband, who sweats a lot or is always kind of hot, you know how men are usually hot, a lot of the boiler systems, you can't have a central air in there. And so you have, if you're thinking about moving to that area, then in the boiling system, sometimes they even replace it with a newer boiling system. You would have to consider replacing it in order to have central air in your home, right? Also with that, a lot of the homes have a lot of older windows in those houses. So this is something that you actually have to think about as well. And some of them, it's, even though it's beautiful, some of the windows are actually have like leaded glass in there as well. So you don't want to lose that style of the house, but at the same time, you want it to be a little bit more energy efficient. So it's just something to think about. The homes are older, so in some cases, the basements could have a little more dampness to it because they were built on cinder blocks, which is porous material. And, you know, these homes could be like 100 years old. And if water over time starts to break down, so they may need some waterproofing going on in those homes as well. Not to deter you from the area, is definitely somewhere that you want to consider. But these are the things that you want to look at. And even some of the roofs may even have slate tiles instead of shingles on the roof. So I'm going to share my screen with you very quickly here. I did pull up. You should see my screen here. So I'm showing you a map kind of like of the area. So the area, as you can see, kind of sits, is very large when we look at the imprint, the footprint of Cleveland Heights here, which is outlined in red. If you're someone that's like an artsy type of person, this is the perfect area for you. I talked about the Cleveland Clinics area. This is where Cleveland Clinic is. So you can see where that is. I don't see very easily here, University Hospital showing up on there. But you can see the Cleveland Museum. You have all of the museums. You have what we call University Circle that sits around here. And it has a lot of our history museums at different places for you to go. There's some parks in here, Fairmount Boulevard. So you can kind of see it has such a large footprint and lots of things to do. And then when you look at how the freeway, the highway is kind of back off of here, it's going to be like your main highway. So I just wanted to give you kind of like that little visual there, give you that little visual of the area and what it looks like. So that is all I have for you guys today. I just wanted to thank you again for joining me. I look forward to continued growth with you guys through 2021. Super excited. I probably said that at the beginning of 2020 and then boom, we got hit. But we're not claiming that this year. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you guys, answer any questions that you may have. And I will talk to you guys next time.